I guess I'm just gonna make this video because I feel like um, this is a huge reflection of the injustice that possibly goes on in our society that a lot of corporations think to bring about. Even if it's against the law, they'll still do these kinds of injustices. And I'm about to tell you what I'm talking about. A few months ago, I quit my job because a lot of people there were not nice. Well, that's not really the reason why I quit my job. They used to be really nice there, but they just started becoming complete dicks and B words, the B word. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, they started turning from really caring to really not caring. Even after the fact that I've been through a hard time, considering how my family's been going through a hard time, especially due to the fact that my mom died a year and a half ago. People, they cared at first, but they just don't care because now my family's going through a hard time now that my mom died. Um, but anyways, the day I quit, let's go there. My my mom's sister was also like she was dying. She died a few months ago. In fact, 2 months ago, I guess. Anyways, so my mom's sister is also passed away, but another person is also dead in my family who died before the both of them. Someone who should have never died, and that was my cousin who committed suicide in county jail. I have a cousin who committed suicide in county jail. And because my aunt was dying a few months ago and she was going to die, they were going to let her go at the hospital. I guess that's what started me and my boss talking about my cousin who committed suicide a few years ago. And I guess the conversation about my aunt dying is what led to the conversation about my cousin who died 6.5 years ago by suicide. Um, my boss said, "Your cousin's a really selfish whore." And I said, "She was being mistreated in county jail." And then she was like, "Oh, she was in county jail, then she was a criminal, then a selfish criminal." And I was like, "How can you talk like this about my cousin?" And she was like, "Well, I'm entitled to my opinion. And yeah, that's a really selfish thing. It's really selfish to your family that your cousin would commit suicide." And I'm like, "So? That's not your call to say that about my cousin. You never met her and you never knew her." Anyways, yeah, I then and I was really upset because my aunt was going to die that day. And little did I know that it would be 4 hours later that my aunt would actually pass away. But before that, during the rest of my shift, and this would be the last shift at that place, I was slamming dishes, slamming the dishwasher because I was so mad. I tried to stay calm. I tried to calm myself down, but I was so mad. I did not scream. I did not say anything really except to one of the managers, but in a quiet tone, but in an honest tone as well. At the end of my shift, I quickly and forcefully went to the clock in machine to clock out and even to walk out the door. And I said, I am starting to hate this place. I'm ready to quit. This place sucks. Because it's no longer fun working there. People are not nice anymore. And other people who worked there actually also quit. And the thing is, I informed my family about it too. My family did say you shouldn't have quit your job, but yeah, we're pretty upset that your boss said that what she said too. She shouldn't have said that either. And I told HR about it. HR, they were not very, I don't know, I feel like they were not really that helpful, to be honest. They said that they talked to her and sat her down and reprimanded her and told her that she can't talk like that to her employees. However, They also told me, HR told me, that if you want to keep your job, then, and you don't want to quit, you're going to have to keep continuing to work with that boss because we can't transfer you to a different location. Also, I'm sorry, but we can't let you go to your aunt's funeral. You have to work that day. And so I said, you know what, then I quit. Screw you guys. Well, I didn't say screw you guys, but I just said, I'm just going to quit then. Because if you guys are, I was thinking, if these guys are going to be this insensitive, then why the hell should I work for them? So I decided to quit. I didn't let them know, why the hell should I work for you anymore? Like, I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. And you know what? My friends who worked there, they won't talk to me anymore. My friends are upset with me because yeah, maybe I shouldn't have reacted the way I did. Like, I should have been calmer with, like, not getting upset at work. I feel like my boss was just, I don't know, probably telling the people at the restaurant how I behaved that day and not telling them the terrible things she said about my cousin, and possibly hiding from them that part of the story. I don't know if that's what's going on over there, because I don't know what's going on over there anymore, but that's what my that's what my guess is. Um, but now it gets this. It's like as if they're now treating me like as if I'm the bad guy and they don't care to talk to me anymore. I don't think that's fair, considering what my boss said about my cousin and all that. Because it's not 100% my fault. Maybe 50-50, 50 of mine, 50 of my boss's. The thing is, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have reacted the way she, like, the way that, like, the way I did towards what she told me about my cousin, what she said about my cousin. But yeah, so because of that, maybe I'm 50% in the wrong. But that would mean that she's the other 50% in the wrong. I feel like that's why HR didn't care to give me the day off to go to my aunt's funeral, or to let me go work somewhere at a different location or away from her. I didn't feel safe to work with her anymore. I just felt like she was going to just keep bullying me and being discriminative. What she said was not racist, of course, but it is a type of ist. I don't know what word to use here. Like an ist. Prejudiced, not racist, but some type of ist. It's prejudice, like some type of prejudice. Like, it's still harassment. And I'm sorry, but she's an idiot if she doesn't think it is. Is she even tried to excuse herself, saying, I'm entitled to my opinion, so it's not that big of a deal. That's complete baloney. That it is a big deal. She can't talk like that. Which really just makes her sound like an idiot even more, if she really thinks it's not a big deal after what she said. Now, why am I making this video? Because I do feel like I was being made to be the bad guy from over there after what happened. I mean, I understand I shouldn't have reacted the way I did, getting upset at work. Um, but yeah, but I feel like she needs to own up to her responsibility and her own actions too, and not hide that if she's going to tell them what I did. Because I do feel like she's doing that. And now my friends over there won't talk to me anymore. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know if that's really valid, but I don't really think that's fair that they would make me the bad guy like that. But if that's how they choose to feel, then I'm just ready to say, screw it. I don't care. Because it really hurt me. And if they don't care, then I really don't care anymore. And that they suck. The thing is, though, why am I making this video, though? Because I've also heard other stories from other people, too, where corporations can tend to be this insensitive on a variety of other situations, other circumstances. And it's led me to believe that there's some kind of flaw, some kind of failure in the system, in the industry, like among corporations. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be some kind of change, like a change where certain things should not be allowed at work, like saying that your cousin was a selfish loser for taking her own life. Like, that's, I know that people have their opinions, but that's still harassment. People, freedom of speech, it might say, like, people think that it's okay to say terrible things about someone because of their race. You know, it's not any more acceptable than that. It's just as discriminative to say what my boss said, to say something discriminative about someone's race. I mean, they're not the same thing, but they're still equally harassing. Like, they are equally harassment, some type of prejudice equally. And so the thing is, people, however, think they can just say stuff like that. They masquerade freedom of speech into meaning that you can say whatever racist, evil, hateful thing you want. No, that's not what freedom of speech means. A number of people have even said that. That's not just coming from me. I mean, I don't understand freedom of speech all that much either. I think it's got to deal with more like standing up for what your beliefs are religiously or stuff like that, but not to the point where you can just go out there and talk like as if you're a Nazi. I mean, I feel like people like to masquerade that it does give you that freedom to talk like that. No. And I'm starting to see that a lot of corporations are probably being a little bit corrupt by that misleading ideology about freedom of speech too, that they can say whatever the heck they want. Maybe not all businesses, but I've seen a little bit of discrimination on other situations in other businesses too. And I don't know, I feel like there needs to be a change. Like, there should, like, I don't know, a company should be sued or something for something that happened. However, like, I don't know, I don't even want to say the name of the business that I worked for, because I'm afraid that that business will then sue me or get upset with me. But I don't know. I do feel like as if I was not really given as much closure as I should have gotten. I mean, if HR did talk to my boss and set her straight, then good, but I mean, in a way I do feel like she should have been fired. And I also feel like it was wrong for them to say, you need to still continue working with her and let it go. Also, we can't let you go to your aunt's funeral. You need to come in that day. Really? That's not okay. You don't tell people that they can't go to their family member's funeral. Many people have told me that a company has to let you go to their funeral if it's a family member. But they wouldn't let me. So I just said, I quit then. I'm done. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just making this video because I feel like there's some kind of flaw in the system of how things go out there. I don't know, and I don't know what, but something's off. Something's out of place. I don't know. There's like some kind of selfishness or corruption or whatever going on in the system. And if you feel like the way I do, then maybe we can work together to bring about change somehow, some way or another. I don't know. And I don't know how we would even start that, but something needs to change, and people need to be given more respect than this. They're not the victim here. I am. That's, well, at least that's how I feel. I don't know. People need to do better. Really. Be more mature than this. Because that's not mature. What my boss did and how HR handled it, I don't think that's mature at all. I think they should have been more mature, and they could have done better and needed to do better than that. It's just, I'm especially upset because my boss knew that my aunt was going to die that day. And she still said what she said about her daughter, about my cousin. My aunt was going to die that day. My boss knew that and still said the terrible thing about my aunt's daughter, my cousin. And even once my aunt finally died, I told my boss, I don't care who the heck you are, if you're my boss or not, you don't talk like that about my family. My boss still didn't care. She was more mad at me about the way I behaved at work. She didn't even care to apologize. All she said was, I'm entitled to my opinion, and so it's not that big of a deal. I have the right to my opinion. That's what bothers me. People think freedom of speech gives them the right to discriminate like that. Like they masquerade like as if that's what it means. No, it doesn't. She's an idiot if that's what she thinks. People who think that way are idiots. The thing is, it's like calling a black person the N word. The word that I hate so much that I would, if someone used that word in my house, I would kick them out in an instant. Yeah, because that's a terrible word to use. No person should ever be called that. No person of color, or, yeah. And the thing is, no one. It's just like what a Nazi would say, I feel. Like, so what? Freedom of speech means that you can talk like a crazy Nazi? I don't know. She wasn't sorry for what she said about my cousin. And she doesn't know what my cousin went through. My cousin was really lonely. My cousin also went through a lot of torture by, like, she had, like, her ex-husband, my cousin, her ex-husband even tackled her to the ground and injected drugs into her neck at some point in her life. And because of that, my cousin became involuntarily addicted to drugs. Involuntarily addicted to drugs. That's why my cousin ended up in county jail in the first place. I mean, her ex-husband admitted to doing that before they arrested my cousin. Like, a few months before they took my cousin to county jail. And they arrested him because he admitted to it. But the thing is, she was still addicted to the drugs. She was trying to come off of her addiction, but because of her abusive ex-husband who did that before they divorced or so, she was addicted to drugs because they injected drugs into her neck. And so it ruined her life. The Duchesne County Jail over in Utah, because that's where this is, Duchesne County Jail, they were not good to her. And so on Thanksgiving Day 2016, she killed herself right on Thanksgiving Day. The rest of Thanksgiving was canceled that day because we heard that she had taken her life. So the rest of our Thanksgiving was canceled. And my boss at this job had the audacity to say what she said about her. She didn't care how offensive it was to me about my cousin. She didn't care how much it was going to affect me. She just said that she was entitled to her opinion. And I feel like I'm being made the bad guy at that place now because of the way I reacted. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have reacted that way. Maybe I shouldn't have. And I admit I was a bit overboard. I shouldn't have done that. But again, it's just like what my boss said though was just as messed up as calling someone the N word, like the racist N word, or even worse, or I don't know, just as bad as that, actually. It's really bad. And I feel like it's so messed up that I would be made to feel the bad guy after everything that happened. I mean, it's not the same situation as racism, but it's still just as messed up. Racism is bad. Ableism, which is discrimination against someone's disability and not a race, is bad. Like racist is against someone's race. Ableist is against someone's disability. All forms of prejudice are bad. And it's really sad what happened to my cousin because she was on drugs. She tried to come off of them, and it wasn't really her fault because she was forced to take drugs by her ex-husband who tackled her to the ground and injected it into her neck. And yeah, at least that's what I was told. And I don't know, I just don't understand how my boss and how people in general can just be so careless enough to say whatever the heck they want, and they care more about freedom of speech, and they masquerade freedom of speech to mean that they can say such messed up things, and that's all they care about, more than they care about how it affects you. I don't understand that. I mean, people literally are so evil. Like, this is not human. This is so evil that it's just not human. At least that's how I feel. It's not, like, it's really evil. Like, that, there's just no humanity, like, no humaneness to that behavior. I just, I don't know. Especially, I don't know. I just think it's really messed up how people think that they can talk like this and think it's okay. And how if I was the victim, I was being made to feel like I was being made to be the bad guy. That's really messed up. I don't know. And I feel like it's because of the system probably that the influences in our system possibly. I don't know. And that's why I feel like there needs to be some kind of change.